Hi guys, it's your girl Cindy and Tiffany for Two Poly Chicks, another episode. Today is not a smiley one, but we felt like we wanted to talk about it because it's around the holidays, November. We wanted to talk about the food shortages. Tiff, are you seeing food shortages?
No. And that's the craziest thing, because it's so funny. I went on the USDA's website, usda.gov, and there's not a shortage. And when I thought about it, I was like, has there been something that I went to the store to get and haven't been able to get? The last time that happened was when I was looking for Clorox wipes and tissue when we were in lockdown. But well, that wasn't food, but like,
that was supplies.
I haven't seen where I couldn't get chicken or any type of turkey or anything like that. So I haven't seen them. I do notice that it's lower in quantity, like where the store used to be stocked. Now you'll see like a few on the shelf, but I haven't not been able to access anything. Have you been missing out on getting a specific thing or item of food?
That's interesting, the distinction that you made, because I do want to say, I agree with you. It's not necessarily, well, I guess that is a shortage kind of, because if it's less, that means we have less. So what I've seen is hiked up prices. I've seen, like you said, less, and I've seen people buying a lot of whatever there is, to where the stores are putting a limit. Like we were in Costco's recently, and people just had carts and carts of water, and you could tell they were together. It was like a couple or 2 or 3 people in a family, and each person had like 3 cases of the water. And I'm seeing
they were shopping together, and then all of a sudden they're on separate lines.
Now they're on separate lines.
They don't know each other.
That. I tend to shop at Costco's.
Okay.
So I wouldn't notice necessarily a shortage, because Costco's is a bulk store.
Yeah.
So I don't tend to go in the supermarket. But what I have seen when I watch a lot of food shows is they're talking about like the price of chicken, little tray of chicken wings, $10, $12. My mother talks about it a lot, like how much, and I do notice that I'm spending a lot more money, like for a little bit of stuff. If I take her to the supermarket, I'm seeing a lot of expensive stuff happen.
Right. So, and that's the thing. So when people talk about food deserts and shortages, a food desert is the lack of quality, affordable, available food. And or available food, any of those combinations, quality, affordable, and available. So when we say food desert or food shortage, it encompasses the affordability of the food, because if you can't afford to buy the food, then you ain't
gonna be able to buy it. Yeah.
So, but and like you said, I shop at the supermarkets all the time, different supermarkets, and I haven't seen where it's not, the food is not there. It's just either lesser quantities on the shelf, less to pick from, and then it's the prices are jacked completely up. Like, and the part of that is, as we talked about, or we'll talk about, which is the supply chain. When you think about the fact that the food, they have to come from somewhere. Like the chicken has to be slaughtered by someone, has to be packaged by someone. I know. Hey, the fish has to be caught. It has to be packaged. It has to be shipped. So when you think about those things, there has to be bodies in place. And part of the problem is that since the pandemic, people have started walking off their jobs. They've been
there's a great quit going on.
Yes. What do they call it? The mass resignation. The mass resignation. And people are resigning and doing things where they can be creative or using their talent.
COVID showed you can be creative.
Yes, you became creative. You're like, okay, let's come up with this. Let's do this.
I can make things. In addition to what you said about the food, the supply chain, what affected it. I saw a really nice video. I'm gonna try to get it again so we can link it.
Okay.
But this guy was talking about what was happening with the containers that are stuck out in California. But he was also talking about the reason why prices are so high is because of gas.
Yeah.
Because the gas is off the chain now, like everywhere. I saw a video, I think they said in California it's $8, or some parts of California is like $8, $7. I know here in New York City it's $4.
Wow.
So that is going to affect the price, because if I got to pay gas to fuel my car to bring you your item, then I'm going to charge you the gas.
More.
Trucking companies.
Yep. Yep, the trucking companies, and just the manufacturers in and of itself. So if the truck, let's say I own a farm and I'm trying to get my chicken to the supermarket, if my supplier is paying more for gas and more, he or she has to pay their employees more because the employee demand is so high that the employee demand versus what the supply is so high that you have to pay more. You have to have something where you're intriguing people to come work for your business. So they're absorbing those costs, but they're also charging you more for, let's say, shipping the food.
And the gas, even the gas with the storage of, you need gas to the propane to do propane. We took, like, I think you took it with me, the accounting class. If you take an accounting class, cost of goods sold. So it costs money to sell something. So to make this, it costs the money for the thread, the money for the needle, the money for the electricity. They're gonna charge you for all of that.
Yes. So but you know what? When I think about it, I'm thinking the biggest issue is the worker supply, the worker shortage, because that drives everything else. Because if you don't have people in place to do the job, then you're actually working someone twice as hard, or you're paying someone. You have this, there's so many restaurants here where every sign, there's signs in the window saying we're hiring for every
you could just walk right in and get a job. You can just walk right in and get a job.
Whatever you can do, we'll do it. Like, I think we talked about this before, where my mother, someone told me that they used to be able to walk in a place, get a job, and start the same day. And you probably can now. Like, now you can do that. But if you don't have the workers, think about this. I'm a restaurant owner and I don't have employees to wait on the tables. How am I going to serve people? How am I going to get people in? If I don't have a cook, how am I going to cook the necessary food, even if I have waiters? So a lot of it starts with the employees, and the demand is, you freaking pay us. Pay the employees what they're worth.
You're going to have to pay.
Run the business. We run the business. The bottom line.
And that's what they were saying with the trucks, with the containers that stuck. They were saying that the workers that are there are overworked so much now. And there's a big problem in that industry. I think he said that you don't get paid until you make the delivery. So you're working, but you don't get paid. It's like a contractor. My ex-husband was a contractor. You work, you get paid half when you start the job. You don't get the rest of that money until you finish the job. So if he were waiting for wood or waiting for a Home Depot to get something back in stock, couldn't get paid the whole time. So these people can't even get paid until they deliver. And that's
Think
really
about
sad.
this. I'll give you a perfect example. We're getting our roof redone, right? So we contracted with the people in June. Do you know when my material is set to come in? You'll never guess, because my roof hasn't started. It's October. It's not set to come in until December 14th. We've contracted.
I was gonna say January.
December 14th is when the materials will get here, estimated to get here. And those people that we contracted with, we are not paying them.
You can't get paid.
They actually get the job done. So that's why I say a lot of it, but when it comes to the food, it's all related, because you can't get the food to the stores or on the trucks or from the farm or wherever they're grown or shipped from, unless you have people to move those products and the resources to move those products. And a lot of it, when I say supply chains, we're talking about manufacturing, we're talking about parts, we're talking about labor, we're talking about shipping, we're talking about the farming, we're talking about the pickers for the fruit, we're talking about so many
everything.
And you think about the food, and a lot of these jobs are held by, I hate to say it, migrant workers. And it's just the truth.
It's the truth.
It's nothing, I don't want to sound so racist or anything like that, but they do take those low paying jobs where they're out in the fields picking.
You're undocumented.
Yes.
You can't do anything.
And they're taken advantage of sometimes too. And even they're working off like, look.
And they can't demand what they really are worth at this point, because I'm going to report you.
Right, but they are because it's strength in numbers, and it's a lot of those, and that's why you don't see a lot of the supply. I can't say you don't see a lot of the supplies, but it's damage being done to the farm industry as well, because they're looking at the fact that they may get caught, and that we're living in a climate where people are telling on migrant workers. Where you see status quo, and not saying that illegal immigration to this nation is acceptable. It should not be acceptable, but we all know that it runs certain industries. When you talk about the cleaning industry, the house cleaning industry, and talk about things like the farming industry, we know
restaurants,
we know that it runs it. So let's not be
construction.
We know it runs it. So, but they're even standing up saying they need healthcare. They need, well, not healthcare. They need sitters for their children. They need better working conditions. And right now, this is, like I said, when the ball is in your court and you get to demand and choose, then I guess as an employee, it feels much better. And that's where it starts. The food shortages. So the food deserts, the food shortages, is the workers. So
what I saw in the guy's video, I'm looking at my notes because I wrote some notes on what he said. Two things he was talking about: the people coming from other places to your state that has something. So they're saying there's an increase of that. Like if I live in New York and I know in Connecticut, 2 or 3 states over, they have whatever I need. I'm going over there and I'm buying. It was happening with the disinfectants. It was happening with tissue. People from California was going into Mexico to get stuff. So he was talking about there was at one point fighting going on, and people in their towns trying to figure out, we got to protect our goods, because people call and saying, do you have X, Y, and Z? Yeah, I have that. And I'm going over there to get it. Like right now, we go sometimes to Jersey, to the Walmart in Jersey, because it's better than the one in New York City. So he was talking about that, and how at some points it was fighting going on. Like where people were starting to, because you see the out of town plates and stuff.
Like, okay, you don't belong here. You
don't belong here.
The supply or the grapes or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly. He also talked about the holiday shortage, like what's going on. He said electronics.
Yeah.
He mentioned like DVD. Well, DVDs they're saying is going out of style anyway, because people are streaming. But what did he mention? He said electronics, DVDs, and he was talking about gas. So I was like, man, even if you order your Christmas items like now, it's already almost November.
But see, and that's why I say, have you seen, because I like to go by what I see and actually experience versus anything else. Because when someone had told me, oh, the costumes they're not available in the stores and they're not this and it.
I think it depends on where you are.
Yeah, I guess, because I was in Florida talking to the lady when she said it. So she was like, oh, you're too late getting a costume. So I'm like, oh, I'm doomed. I didn't get Donnie a costume. We went yesterday because he has a costume party. He had a costume party yesterday. And there's costumes all over the house. We actually bought 2 costumes. I got one on the floor here because the Spider-Man costume we bought him, he doesn't like the thing covering his whole entire face, which he can't even breathe. But we went in the store, and it may not be the exact costume you wanted, like let's say it was popular like Among Us or Mario, but there's costumes. So I don't see or feel, thank God, I'm not going wood to wait.
I know, right?
That I didn't see that. And so when I think about like the shortages and like anything, it's almost like, well, how is it? Is this something that people are really experiencing?
If you look on YouTube, you see the recorded videos of people in the supermarket with empty shelves. I just believe it depends on where you live, maybe. I don't know, maybe time of day. I don't know what it is, but if you look on there, it's not like they're sitting at home saying it. They are in the store showing, and I've seen it on the news. I've seen it on the news that they're saying that there's a shortage. I guess if you don't feel it because it's not what you're looking to buy, so it's not something.
But that's what I'm saying.
Looking to purchase.
Have you experienced where you can't get something? And I'll ask a few people too. Like, have you experienced where you can't get an item? And like I didn't go to the.
I'm too busy buying clothes.
Oh, because I was gonna say I didn't go to the store because I'm thinking they're not gonna have a costume, so Donnie's gonna have a make me up costume. But when he had that party to go to, I was like, let's go to Walmart. We went to 2 separate Walmarts and there's costumes available. So that's why I was like, is it word of mouth, or have you experienced, or anyone you know experienced?
I don't talk to anybody about it. I've seen the prices. That's my main thing, and my mother does say that. And prices
Yeah.
is a result of the, like we talked about with the gas and stuff, but it's also supply and demand.
Yeah.
If there's a little of something, then I can hike up the price.
Yep.
So price does indicate there's a problem.
Yeah.
Because if there's a higher price, there must be some issue other than just the supply and the gas. It's just that, I mean, other than the gas, it's just that I believe they know that it's not a lot available. But I don't go in regular, like I said, I don't shop in regular supermarkets. I go to Costco's, get the big bulk stuff and call it a day. But I mean, there's certain, I'm buying like the same specific things. And once my freezer get full, I don't have to buy for, my kids are all grown, so I don't have to buy for a long time. So, but the people in the store, the ones that I've seen were actually in the store showing the store. So my concern, which I don't think it's on this list. Are you frozen too? Oh, you were frozen.
I was for a minute, my internet. Yeah. So I'm like, let's hurry up, because you know. Wait,
you just like this.
We just did a video where I was like, wait, we just did a video where I was like, oh, my internet connection has gotten better. And now I'm like,
you were like,
yeah, I'm like, this is ridiculous. But the main thing is that, I mean, there are like, when you say food shortages and supply shortages, there is a problem there, because like the definition is quality, affordable, and availability. Any of those combinations, when you talk about $15, let's say $15 chicken, I may be able to afford it, but there may be a person that can't get that $15 chicken when the price increase. So it does affect the availability to some. So it's just like, we know that there's a problem. There's a problem, something that needs to be done. And part of it, when, like I said, we were living through and lived through a pandemic, which caused a lot of changes within how America is run and how things are operating. And
well, I'm glad you said that.
I was going to say, for the businesses, look, you pay the employees what they're worth, and they'll be loyal. And well, I shouldn't say loyal, but they'll be happier, and they'll come to work. So that's point A. Because remember, they said once the unemployment benefits run out, all these employees, because they said, oh, it's the unemployment, they're going to come back to work. Those people was like, look, I was making it with this, and I got this, and I have this,
and I don't got to catch the vid. I don't got to catch the vid. How about that?
And they're like, I'm doing just fine. So
what I'm concerned about, one of the other things which ain't on this list with the shortage, is the medical staff. Like, I think medical staff, which this is a food shortage thing, so I know we won't probably go into it, but I couldn't get an eye doctor's appointment for 6 months.
Wow.
And I'm even seeing that in, they're talking about the amount of people that have either died, medical professionals that have either died or quit.
Yeah.
Or, now we're seeing just shortages to me all around.
Yeah. And with the medical profession, they're more apt to do COVID safety measures, whereas other places are piling you into the office. I go to the dentist, there's one person there, and you're not coming in until that person has left. Like, so they're spacing it out, which is a little okay, because I used to go to the doctor and have to wait 45 to an hour, because everybody else has the same time appointment for the same doctor. But
I waited 2 hours for my eye doctor appointment.
Oh,
2
man.
hours. 2 hours. And I think in their case, they're very frustrated now. I just think we've been in this 2 years, but we've been kind of chilling in it. They are in it. Like, can't see their families, gotta certain wash protocols, gotta stay away from their kids for a certain amount of time. And then we got this whole unvaccinated population, this vaccine versus not vaccine, mask versus not mask, mandate versus not mandate, close down versus open. And they are the ones that are actually taking care of both sides. I gotta treat you regardless of if you come in here with your crazy, your conspiracy theories, screaming at me, yelling at me, I still have to treat you, So I'm concerned with that stuff. This is not that kind of video, but I was watching one of those prepper videos, and he was just talking about what things to buy now and all that. So it's like generator, water, and all of that, because they're like, they don't know how long this supply thing is gonna happen. But I know this is your guy. I think it's still your guy. Buttigieg, is he still your guy?
Yeah.
You heard what he said?
Department of Transportation.
You heard what he said?
About what?
He said
What
that
part?
as long as it didn't feel like a surrender. I mean, it felt like a reality check. He was like, as long as there's this pandemic going on, there's going to be shortages.
Which is true.
It's
And
true.
I mean,
Is it
people
true?
don't
But
want to
people don't
believe
usually
it.
say that. They don't usually say that.
But the one thing I like about him is, like I said, I like real talk, and
Yeah.
he's being honest and open about the
It
fact
was
that,
true.
hey, this is what's happening. I mean, you
Yeah,
have
yeah.
ships out waiting to get in because they can't process but so much with 3 people. If there's only 3 people working, I can only handle 2 ships at a time. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not an octopus. So
Yeah.
it all boils down to the fact of, with COVID, it changed a lot of things, and it also opened the eyes of a lot of employees to see that they have other talents, like LeBron James. They're taking their talents elsewhere, and they don't have to put up with the crap. While the CEO is at home chilling. So
how about that? Not just chilling. He's buying a plane just to fly and see how fast it can fly. Bezos.
Yep. Or going to space.
Going to the moon just to see. He's buying a boat. He's buying a boat the size of 3 houses just because.
But I want to say, before we end the video, I do want to say, what with people hoarding, part of the problem with hoarding is that it's causing a lot of the supply and demand issues. Because if you're going to the store and you're getting 16 bottles of something you don't need, you're hoarding it and taking it away from other people. And while it can still be replenished based on the number of people in that, let's say that area, if you have milk for a specific area, if you put out 10 gallons per day, it should suffice for the amount of people. But if people are buying 3 and 4, then that means the suppliers that are generating the milk can't get the food, the replenishment fast enough. So hoarding is causing a problem with, the supply as well.
Because when you're a buyer,
when
you're a buyer, you're considering what's normally done. You don't want to overbuy. So if I know normally in a day we're gonna sell 100 gallons of milk, I'm not gonna buy 200 gallons of milk.
Exactly.
I'm not thinking that Mr. So-and-so is gonna come in the store and get 50 of them.
All of them.
And you remember what happened with that guy, right?
Yep. But that's why they put the limits. That's why the stores are having to put the limits, because they're like, if we allow 2 per customer, then we should be able to have enough for however many, and not have people.
The federal government had confiscated that guy's. Remember that guy? There was these 2 young guys. They saw the pandemic coming. I don't know how or whatever. They heard rumors or whatever, and they went and had a whole storage room full of wipes, alcohol, sanitizing, all of this stuff. And I don't know if it was the state government, the federal. I don't know who came in, and they basically confiscated and made them distribute it to the area.
Yeah,
because they went all to each state. They went to different states around their area and bought up everything. Before
we'll put
it
the
became
information. I was gonna say we'll put the information. I would have to look at that. I've never even heard of that.
But, it was some young, I believe it was some young guys or something. It was like 2 of them. They were younger and they heard it, they saw what was happening, and they just went and they had like a garage full of wipes, tissue. They just had and it was like they could have had a store.
Wow.
And so I think the government made them, because there's a such thing as eminent domain. The government has power over basic individual rights in a time of crisis. In a time of crisis, they could force you to do something, force you to move, force you to whatever. And so they made
Wow.
They made them. Yeah, they made them. People were furious.
Yeah.
Anyway,
like I said, I'm going to look that up. I'll look it up a little later. And if we find it, the video or the information, we'll definitely link it, as always, which we haven't been putting our playlist together, but we'll start doing that.
Yeah.
But so this has been good, Cindy, on our way to Thanksgiving. So the key is don't hoard when it comes to don't
buy in advance, but don't hoard.
Buy in advance. That's good advice. Buy in advance, but don't hoard. I like that. That's a good note to end on. And as always, guys, if you like the video, thumbs up, thumbs down. And don't forget to subscribe, put the notification, comment, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at 2polychicks, and you can always email us with topical suggestions at 2polychicks@gmail.com. Bye, guys.
Bye.